Yo guys, it's Slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you my final impressions for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. A couple weeks ago, I talked about my initial impressions with this game after my first 2 hours of playtime, and now I'm here to tell you my impressions of the game now that I am finished with the game. And even though I say that I am finished with the game, that does not mean that I beat the game. So I need to set a couple of things up right at the start. The two main points that I want to make is 1, a game can still be good and I can still really enjoy it without having to finish it, and 2, some of my criticisms of the game are going to be for me personally, even if they are objectively fine and won't bother most people. There are a couple of things that bother me personally that may not affect everybody else, so keep that in mind as I make some of my critiques and points and things that I would like to say about this game. So, as of the time that I decided to stop playing the game, I have put a little over 10 hours into the game. The game itself says that I am 45.4% complete. However, when I go to start the game on PlayStation, it says that I'm like 60% through the main trophy quest or something like that. So I'm not entirely sure how far I am through the game, but I do think that I'm over half because I haven't been doing all of the optional side stuff. I will be referencing some of the points that I brought up in my initial impressions to compare and contrast as to how I feel about them now as to when I brought them up then. So if you want full context, I highly recommend watching that video first. But either way, this should still break down my issues and why I decided to stop playing the game, but also the things that I absolutely love about this game, because this game is a lot of fun. So some of the positives that I had in my initial impressions still hold up, such as the presentation of the game, the environments, the graphics, the sound. The characters and story is again, whatever. I didn't pay that much attention to them. There were a couple of cutscenes. Some of them were actually pretty good. There was this nice twist pretty early on that was really fun to see. The characters are nice, but again, I'm not a big story guy, but it wasn't intrusive to the gameplay part, which I really liked. So I only have good things to say in that aspect. And also to expand on that, the areas that I got to explore were pretty varied. They didn't all look the same. It didn't all blend together. I think each area is very unique. It has its own set of obstacles and its own types of enemies, and just really has a distinct feel, which I think is really good for these types of games. I had mentioned that the difficulty was slightly on the easier side and that I was thinking about increasing the difficulty, and I never ended up doing that because I did end up running into some more aggressive and difficult enemies, and while it still wasn't hard, I do think that Warrior was a pretty good balance for me. It was enough to give me just a little bit of a challenge without stopping my progress completely and making me feel like I'm just banging my head against a wall. Also, the combat continued to just evolve and get better and just feel fluid. Like I said, there was a lot of different enemy types, a little different ways to approach enemies, more enemies that were from the air, enemies that would teleport around, enemies that would throw projectiles at you. There were different ways to tackle each enemy, and as you unlock new abilities, a lot of times those abilities would also have use in combat, and some of them would find use against certain bosses, and I really thought that it was a well-done system. The new abilities that you get are also a lot of fun. Some of them are things that you would expect, like dashing, double jumping and whatnot, but there's a couple of other really, really cool abilities that are pretty unique to this game. I will say it felt like it took a long time to get a double jump. I feel like for so long in the game, I was like, I really just want a double jump, and I knew I was going to get it at some point because I would see platforms that are just slightly too high for one jump to make it. I was like, I know I'm getting a double jump, and the game just teased me for way too long. But I mean, that's just a personal thing. I'm sure it's fine, especially seeing as there's probably almost half of the game for me to go. It's not too bad. And I know there's more abilities for me to unlock, but obviously since I'm not going to be playing this anymore, I'm not going to. And that is going to start leading into some of the points that I brought up in my initial impressions that I actually forgot that I brought up that actually ended up being a bigger problem than I expected. I had mentioned that I do think that this could be a good game for somebody to get into the Metroidvania genre, and now I'm less confident in saying that, mostly because the world ended up getting a lot bigger than I expected. It is massive, and it's a little overwhelming, and I think that I would be hesitant to offer this to somebody who might be overwhelmed by a really big world to explore, someone who gets lost easily, and I'm basically just describing myself at this point. But the game started throwing a lot more at me than I was expecting. A lot of it was good, but some of it was just a bit too much. Alright, so I figured the best way to make my points is to visually show you what my map looks like and where the game wants me to go and the issues that I'm having right now and what ultimately led to my decision to stop playing. So when I say that it's very easy to get overwhelmed, look at the map. Look at just how much I've uncovered. There's so many different areas, so many places to go. right? Okay, so there's that. So that is very overwhelming because, wow, where do you go? Especially when this game does have a lot of backtracking. One of the things that I was worried about in my initial impression was the fast travel system, and there are certain fast travel points, but they are kind of few and far between, right? So this marker right here, these are fast travel points, right? So you have some where there's like, oh, there's one here, there's like one here. If you want to explore the left side here, good luck, because you have to, you know, walk there from maybe this one or this one. There's like one here, but then there's like no fast travel points way down here, but there's like one here, right? So they're kind of just like scattered throughout. Some of them might not look too bad, but like some of them, like if you want to go explore up this area, actually that one's not a good example because there's one over here that I didn't see. But there's certain areas that you just go to that it feels like there's a long point between fast travel systems, and that wouldn't be as bad if this game did not require a lot of backtracking. The backtracking is not that bad because as the game is built, you know, you unlock new abilities and then you use those new abilities to open up paths that you weren't able to explore before. And these systems with these memories are still really helpful. Like right here is a picture that I took of, like that clearly just requires like a double jump. So now I know that I could go back here and use a double jump. But however, to go back there, I'm going to need to either fast travel here, go through down here, around the whole way over here. Maybe I can fast travel to here and then go and then drop the whole way down and then go there. And then, I mean, all that is just for what looks like to be maybe like a treasure or something up there, right? So there's just a lot of different things. So here's the problem I have with the fast travel point system and how it relates to why I'm having trouble navigating this game, because there's so many places to go, right? So right now I have a quest where I need to summon the 4 Celestial Guardians, and that essentially means that I need to go to where these symbols are, right? This symbol is like not connected to anything on this map. How do I get there? That's a great question. I'm not entirely sure. I started going up here to see if maybe I could go off to the left. Nope, wasn't an option. You're just gonna have to take my word for it that I didn't have any abilities to make it further up here to be able to go around that. Same thing happened up here. So this one's just like out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know, like, you know, how to get to that one. There's one literally like way over here. It's just like, is that connected to the map? Is that like teleporting from somewhere else? I'm not entirely sure. I actually think this might have a memory. No, I mean, I don't know if a double jump is going to be enough to get me up that gap. But you can see that my issue is, oh, there's so many places to go. And the problem is, okay, what if that is a place that I need to go? Well, in order to do that, I need to fast travel here, I need to go here, I need to go through this whole little section just to go here, just to maybe find out that that might not be the right answer, and then I need to go somewhere else. And you can see that that starts to feel really, really tedious. So A, I don't really know where I'm supposed to go. B, there's so many different places that I could go that they could all be wrong, and then I just end up wasting my time. And C, because there's many different ways to go, it's very, very hard to look up, say, like a walkthrough or something to help me get through this one section of the game, right? So that is sort of my issue that I'm having, and I have this issue a lot with Metroidvanias in general, where I'm very bad at navigating it. I'm not sure where this one open path could possibly be, and if I just look and zoom out here, it's like, okay, where's the one open path that I'm looking for? Anywhere. And then there's actually an in-game hint system as well, which I have bought a hint. And one of them's like, oh, go through the upper citadel or something like that. Upper something. Like, I don't even know where that is. There's the lower city. There's like, you know, that's probably the one up here. And then one of them said something about going... Like, the hints are, like, not as helpful as I would want them to be. Speaking of things not being as helpful as I would want them to be, what I did want to say is I did start using... guided mode, right? So map icons display the location of the next objective available in block paths are marked. It's easier to navigate, right? So that's going to help me navigate easier. But let me show you why that doesn't exactly work, because all it adds is the symbols that are already on the map, right? That shows me where I need to go. And then when it says about showing unmarked and blocked paths and whatnot, it did have a symbol for an unblocked path here, but all that let me do was get a little bit higher and get to this tree, and then I got stuck again, right? And so now there's no single thing on the map that leads me in a way to help navigate this game, and that is the problem that I have with guided mode. It advertises itself as being helpful for navigation, but it doesn't actually help navigate, like, very much at all. Most of the places that were the main quest I was able to figure out even without the big symbol. Sometimes it was helpful, but I really thought that it was going to really point me in the direction of, hey, here's the path you need to take to start going in that direction, but it doesn't do that. Unfortunately, I have really just discovered more about myself and really just cemented the fact that I need more clear, visible quest markers for me in video games. This is why I respond better to linear games, things that are mostly focused on strategy, combat, or like a visual novel, something that's like anything that I can just progress through without being stopped, where the challenge is to try and navigate and try to find where the solution is. And sometimes puzzles and stuff can trip me up as well. But I don't think that there's like a puzzle that I'm just like missing out on. There's just so many places that like it could be like, this could be it. This could be it. I'm actually pretty sure I explored that, and that's not a way I can actually go. But I wish that the guided mode would actually like put like an X or something. You know, if you're gonna have like an accessibility option to like, you know, make a baby mode, make it easier, like, I just wish that it would actually work. So yeah, I don't really have any praise for the accessibility options in this game anymore. I don't know if there's any other accessibility options that I really need to... Oh wow, I didn't even realize the platforming assist. That's pretty funny. I haven't needed any assistance with the targeting, melee or combat or anything like that, so I haven't needed anything else. I just really wish that the guided mode did more. So that is all of the visual stuff that I had to show to really just explain my points as to why it's easy to get overwhelmed, why I personally am getting overwhelmed. People that play Metroidvanias, that might be absolutely nothing to them, and they might know exactly where to go. They've been keeping good tracks. The game does have a memory system, you know, like, it has given me the ability to do this. So maybe there was a section that I didn't put a memory there, where maybe I should have, and that would have helped me find the right spot. The game gives you the tools to succeed. I'm just not able to use them to succeed myself, and therefore I'm not having as much fun. But that is why I am not objectively saying that this game is bad and it's doing this bad and this bad. It's just a personal gripe of how I play video games. I do think that I need to stick to more linear games, and as much as I still want to love Metroidvanias, and I know that I will find a Metroidvania out there for me someday, I think this is not quite the one. However, this is still a fantastic game. If you see this map and this does not overwhelm you, and this just, you know, it looks exciting and it's something that you want to explore, by all means, if you're good at exploring and navigating and good at attention to detail and all that sort of stuff, you will not have the same problems as me. I just need to explain why I had those problems. So hopefully that makes sense, but the game is still really good, and now I'm going to kick it back over to other me to wrap up all my points and finish off the video. So to wrap everything up, this is not a game that I want to stop playing. It is a game that, as I am sitting here saying this, I want to keep playing this game. Unfortunately, I just do not have the ability and patience to figure out how to progress further in the game and to keep my sanity, to do more productive things with my free time. I've had to make the decision to stop playing this game, but don't let that discourage you. I think objectively this is a really good game. If you like Metroidvanias, absolutely play this, because the combat is a lot of fun, the bosses are great, the environment's so cool, the abilities that you get. I just have overwhelmingly positive things to say about this game, and unfortunately, my lack of skill, you know, I don't want that to reflect poorly on the game, but I do need to be honest with my assessment of the game, and that it is not as much for me. But by all means, I do think this is a really good game. I think the year is starting out strong. There's a lot of other new games coming out that I am looking forward to giving you my impressions on. There should be another one coming out next Saturday, so I won't spoil what that is, especially if I end up being a big liar and that doesn't come out, but it should, so we'll see about that. Either way, I hope you are looking forward to future videos. If there's other games that you want me to check out and leave my impressions of, feel free to leave them in the comments, and, you know, if I have time, I will get to them. I already have a couple games, specifically in February, that I am looking to do these sorts of videos for, and hopefully you are all looking forward to that. If you have any other suggestions for formats, tweaks, things like that, let me know your impressions of the game if you've played it, if you have become interested in this game or anything like that. I'm interested to see what other people's opinions are on this game, but that is all I have to say. Hopefully you have enjoyed. If so, let me know, but I will see you all around. So till then, peace out.